Well, hello and welcome to California. I think the sun's shining just over my shoulder somewhere in the distance there, but it's a lot chillier here than you would normally imagine. So I'm here with Royal Enfield, and they've invited us out here for the international press launch of what the company is saying is one of the most important moments in their history. And what you see here is the Continental GT 650 twin. It's one of two brand new models ready for 2019. The company have developed this 650 twin cylinder, a parallel twin, air and oil cooled. It makes about 47 horsepower, which is the equivalent of 35 kilowatts. Important because that makes it A2 license friendly. The price for this has been announced in US dollars only so far. We're expecting the UK price, but not for another 6 weeks or so. In US dollars, it'll be from 6,000. And I believe that it's going to be about the same in pounds. And that represents extreme value as far as I'm concerned. So to find out a little bit more about Royal Enfield's twin cylinder 650 project, I went to speak to the big boss man, Siddhartha Lal. I wrote a quote down, I'm going to read it. It was something that you said only the other night. It's, this is the biggest and most important moment of my career, which is an incredible thing to say, but very significant. Do you recall the moment you or your guys dreamt this project up, when you realised you needed a 650 twin to show the world?
Yeah, it was around 10 years ago that we first thought about it. But at that point, we were sure that we didn't have the understanding and the capability as an organization, because we first had to do things in our home market really well, that we were really happy with, before we could say we're going to venture out and make a motorcycle for the world. So it was really around just over 4 years ago that we started thinking about, in earnest, started thinking about the twin. It's at that point that we started hiring people in our UK tech center also, actually for this job itself. And really they've been leading the project for the twins out in the UK, of course, along with our team back in India. And that's what it took, to have a global team, really.
And it's probably a little crass of me to ask this because we're faced with two beautiful new models right here, but what does the future hold for this engine?
I'd say for the next 2 years, we're entirely focused on getting these bikes out. I mean, it's not a done deal. This is the first media launch. We've got to go out in markets. We've got to produce enough. There's a lot more to go to actually sort these out. And as we go beyond, of course, we think this engine has more legs. It could go on to other motorcycles. We had that, obviously, the land speed record breaking motorcycle out there, and that also gives us ideas. Of course, we're not going to make anything like that for production, but yeah, we get encouraged by different ideas out there, and especially from the custom scene. And yeah, we could certainly see something, but it'll take a couple of years, I think. Yeah.
There's another quote you gave at the presentation recently, and that's something I really did quite enjoy. A company with UK roots, an Indian soul, and a global approach. It fascinated me because of course, the company's history, or with the company's history. Was that the reason why you chose the UK with the technical and research centre and dare I say, the key technical staff?
From the year 2000 onwards, when I'd started working at Royal Enfield, we were working with consultants from around the world, and we couldn't afford to have a big team ourselves, so we used to go out, meet consultants, and some in Germany, Austria, Japan, US, but a lot, it sort of started converging to the UK, and we had people like Mark and others who were actually supporting us from the outside early on, and we sort of got along with all the people. We had various others we used to work with, and they were here. So when we were thinking of starting a development center, it was a natural choice really for us. And when we first started, was it 4.5 years ago, we said we're going to have a specialist team of 5 people, and that's it. And today we are 140 people in the UK. It sort of grew organically. As our project, we started adding more people. We needed more test riders. We needed more chassis experts, and then of course we also got people from around the world.
So what's it like to ride? Well, the Continental GT is, even though it's got a lot of the same components as the Interceptor, this is much more of a sporty bike, and primarily because of the clip-ons and its cafe racer style. You've got a single seat unit which promotes you a little bit further forwards, a bit more weight on the wrists for sure. What I found though is the gear shift lever is slightly in the wrong position for me. It accentuates more of a sitting up style as opposed to a leaning forward style. So it's a heck of a lot of fun in the faster bends. You got to work it, you got to work that throttle. It's quite a flat torque curve. And then when it comes to stopping, it's a single disc brake assisted by those Brembo caliper on the front. Any more speed out of this bike and you'd really need a twin disc. The brakes are good enough for what it is. It's just a shade under 200 kilograms in terms of weight. That's dry curb weight. Twin clocks on the front with a little digital display, giving you the most basic information. You haven't got a lot to distract you from just enjoying the ride and enjoying the sound. It's a beautiful, beautiful sound out those twin pipes. I've covered about 130 miles on this today, along this Pacific Coast Highway and up into the mountains towards San Jose, on some very fast and twisty roads as well. And the thing handles beautifully. The engine is extremely manageable, beautifully functional. The throttle response is really direct, it's really light. It's got a slip assist clutch, meaning you've got a nice light clutch action as well. There's some extremely good detail that's gone into the creation of this bike, and that's all thanks to a lot of the guys back in the UK. So even though the company's Indian owned, they've still retained their UK base at Bruntingthorpe. You've got twin silencers on here which emanate a marvellous sound out of a parallel twin, as you'd expect, but it's all quite basic, and the retro appearance of a brand new bike essentially is a great package, the way it's been brought together. Very, very simple in its operation. There's nothing like traction control modes, rider modes, gear shift indicator even. There's nothing to take your eye off the ball from just enjoying what is fundamentally a very simple, very cheap and excellently well put together motorcycle.